Will there be 3 more years of Joe Biden? It's very unclear, actually, because Joe Biden's vice president, Kamala Harris, she was on NBC being interviewed about what perhaps they might do in 2024. Are they going to stick it out and keep going? Is she going to take over? What's going to happen? Have they even thought about it?
Are we going to see the same Democratic ticket in 2024?
I'm sorry, we are thinking about today. I mean, honestly, I know why you're asking the question, because this is part of the punditry and the gossip around places like Washington, D.C. Let me just tell you something. We're focused on the things in front of us. We're focused on what we need to do to address issues like affordable child care, what we need to do to ensure.
So there have been no conversations about 2024?
The American people sent us here to do a job. And right now, there's a lot of work to be done, and that's my focus.
It sounds
sincerely.
Like you're at least familiar with some of the punditry. I don't know if you've heard that there's been some talk about a Biden-Cheney ticket perhaps in 2024. Did you read that article?
I did not. No, I did not, and I really could care less about the high-class gossip on these issues.
Okay, first off, everything she said there was a lie. They obviously are thinking about it. They're obviously talking about it. This is what politicians do. You get into power, and then you figure out how you can stay in power. So, of course, she's lying, and anyone that says that they're not thinking about their next election is always lying. She also said she could care less. What she means is she couldn't care less. That's one of my biggest pet peeves. You know, she couldn't care less. If you couldn't care less, you can't care about it any less. I don't care about it at all. But he says, well, Biden might run with Liz Cheney. I could care less. Oh, so you do care. I just can't stand that. It drives me nuts. Also, I haven't read that article about Biden maybe running with Liz Cheney, but doesn't that tell you everything you need to know about Liz Cheney? She's not a real Republican. Obviously, she's a Democrat. She's awful. Anyway, there is a chance now that Hillary may get into the race. That's the new talk, because basically what's happening is that when you look at Biden's approval numbers and his age and his cognitive decline and everything else, and then you couple it with a woman who was polling at 0% in her own party, like nobody, there simply is nobody that supports Kamala Harris. There is just nobody out there. Yes, media people put stories about her, but there is no average human being that is supporting Kamala Harris. So the Democrats have to figure out what to do, right? So now suddenly there's all these stories popping up. Will Hillary get back in the race? We've got a little info here from the New York Post. Could a third time be the charm for Hillary Clinton? That's the case made by 2 prominent Democrats who claim a perfect storm of President Biden's plummeting job approval ratings, Vice President Kamala Harris's own unpopularity, and the commander-in-chief's advanced age could provide an opening for the former First Lady and the Secretary of State. She is already in an advantageous position to become the 2024 Democratic nominee. Political consultant Doug Schoen and former Manhattan Borough President Andrew Stein write in Wednesday's Wall Street Journal of the 74-year-old Clinton. She is an experienced national figure who is younger than Mr. Biden and can offer a different approach from the disorganized and unpopular one that the party is currently taking, they add. If Democrats lose their House and Senate majorities in November's midterms, Schoen and Stein argue Clinton can capitalize on the losses as a basis to run for president again, enabling her to claim the title of change candidate. Okay, let me just say, the article is mostly nonsense because 74 and she's going to be the change candidate. Yes, Hillary Clinton is going to come in and be the change candidate. She's so young at 24, right? Like at 74. Man, we could use a 24-year-old, but you can't be president, a 24-year-old. But it was making me think. Why would Hillary run? Now, we know she's lost twice, but it's not just that. There might be some other reasons she might not run. I mean, does Hillary Clinton believe in the validity of our previous elections? We've got a compilation.
You know, every time Donald thinks things are not going in his direction, he claims whatever it is rigged against him.
I know that he knows that this wasn't on the level.
This is how Donald thinks. And it's funny, but it's also really troubling.
I believe he knows he's an illegitimate president. He knows that there were a bunch of different reasons why the election turned out the way it did. He's an illegitimate president. And because of that, he's very insecure about it. Of course he's obsessed with me.
Oh, Hillary. I'm sorry, I probably ruined all your lunches by having even listened to that ridiculous woman. But it's just interesting to know that, when the Democrats question election validity, when they say that someone's an illegitimate president, he knows something happened. He knows. What was the other one? That the election, it wasn't on the level. Of course, she's talking about the election that she lost. Remember, you're allowed to do stuff when you're a Democrat. You cannot do it when you're a Republican or anyone who isn't just sort of a brainwashed, blue-pilled NPC person.